Today we're starting off a brand new series I'm calling Backlog. I usually don't get figures as soon as they come out, so in this series we're going to be grouping up a bunch of older figures that I just got and taking a look at them. This isn't going to be a full review, more so just a brief overview of the figure, the accessories, and any comparisons with new sculpts of these figures. Today we're taking a look at these two 4-packs from 2015. These were exclusive to Amazon and Entertainment Earth, and I'm very glad I got them. All of these figures were a gift from one of my best friends. He's also a huge Black Series collector, but he felt that these figures would fit better within my collection, so he decided to give them to me, and I am eternally grateful to him for that. These figures were released over a decade ago, and I never thought I'd be able to get them. These were pretty hard to get once they came out because they were exclusive to Amazon and Entertainment Earth. Without further ado, let's start taking a look at the first of these 4-packs. This is the first of the packs, and it shows an evolution from the Phase 1 clone all the way to the First Order Stormtrooper. These are the older sculpts, so the detail, sculpt, and articulation aren't as good as what we have currently, but these are still really solid figures. Starting off with Phase 1, this is the Phase 1 Clone Trooper Commander. The Commander designation is shown through the yellow markings on this guy. We actually got 4 of these back in the day, each with a different color shown in Attack of the Clones. I think this yellow color really pops out and it makes it look really nice. As you can see, this figure is using the original Clone Trooper sculpt, so it has the double pins on the elbows and on the knees. This sculpt has always been a little finicky to pose. More than a decade later, we still haven't got a redo of this guy with the new Clone Trooper sculpt. I would love a new 4-pack, having 4 Clone Troopers, each with the different colors that were shown in Attack of the Clones. For accessories, the Phase 1 Clone Trooper comes with the standard clone blaster with a little bit of white paint, and he also comes with the longer rifle, still including that really nice white paint. Utilizing that exact same sculpt, here is the Phase 2 Clone Trooper. This was the very first time we got a Phase 2 white Clone Trooper in the line, and for the longest time it was the only way to army build these guys. I think the head size leaves a little to be desired, since it's just a little too small. To me, it looks like the head is too small to actually be a human head with a helmet on top. He suffers from all the same problems as the previous Phase 1 clone in the sense that the articulation is very limited on this guy. He comes with the exact same 2 weapons as the previous clone, however, these are just molded in a black plastic and they don't have any paint to them. As you can see, this really is the limit of the articulation. You can't really have him hold it up any further since the elbows are just sort of locked in this position. Next up is the Imperial Stormtrooper. I actually really like this guy because of all of these little weathering scuffs that he has. It's not the most realistic weathering, but I think it just gives him a little pop of color and it makes him stand out next to the other Stormtroopers. This utilizes the very first Stormtrooper mold we got in the line way back in 2013, I think. And the only thing that really makes him different are these little blast marks all over him. I think the articulation on the Stormtroopers has always been a little better than the articulation on the Clone Troopers. This still has pinned joints on the shoulders and knees. However, it doesn't bother me as much because I feel like you can still get him into some pretty dynamic poses. One of the best things about the old Stormtrooper sculpt is that it actually came with a holster. The figure comes with a standard E11 blaster with a little bit of silver paint on it, and you can pop that blaster right in the holster. I really wish the new Stormtroopers also came with a holster like that, just to be more accurate to A New Hope. The last figure in this 4-pack is the First Order Officer. This utilizes the 2015 First Order Stormtrooper sculpt, which did not have pinned elbows but did have pinned knees. However, with these elbows, the range of motion is also incredibly limited. That is actually as far as it can go. Posing on this figure is even more limited than the Clone Troopers and the Stormtroopers. It makes holding a blaster with 2 hands pretty impossible since you just can't bend those elbows enough. This figure comes with 2 accessories, the first being his longer blaster, and he also comes with a really nice shorter one as well. Both of these blasters have a little peg on them, which you can use to peg right to the figure's leg, just like that. Overall, even with the limited articulation, I am a very big fan of this guy. I think the red pauldron looks really nice, and having him next to the red pauldron snowtrooper from the First Order makes these 2 figures look really great. Next up, we have my favorite of the 2 4-packs. This is the Imperial Forces pack. I think I like this one because I'm just a much bigger fan of the Empire, and I think these repaints are just really nice. We have a very good mixture of more expanded universe stuff with some really niche canon repaints. First off is the Crimson Stormtrooper. I think this guy just has such a striking paint job. It can look a little goofy, but I think it really does stand out on a shelf, and it is truly unlike any other figure that I have. Again, we're looking at the exact same Stormtrooper sculpt as the previous Stormtrooper. This one is just completely painted red, and he comes with two accessories, the first being his E11, which is stored in his holster back here. And the next is this longer rifle that he also comes with. I really love the weathering on these blasters. I think they look crazy good. And I really hope that we could get weathering like this on blasters in modern Black Series as well. Next up is the TIE Fighter pilot Oxiso. This is the TIE Fighter pilot that flew alongside Darth Vader during the Trench Run. The only thing that makes him different from the previous TIE Fighter pilot is this little silver triangle on his head. I think this TIE Fighter sculpt isn't that bad, and I think it still holds up a lot better than the original Clone Troopers and Stormtroopers. However, I think we are really due for a new TIE Fighter pilot body. For accessories, this figure comes with the E11 blaster, but now in an airbrushed silver color. I think this also looks really, really good. And here you can see his head sculpt just a little bit better, showing off that really nice silver triangle. Next up, this is R2-Q5. This is an Imperial R2 unit that was also seen in the Death Star. I think this is probably my least favorite figure out of all 8 of these, just because it utilizes that very, very old R2 sculpt that was incredibly disproportionate. So it is a lot smaller than it actually should be, and it includes this really weird gimmick where you would have to spin the head to retract the third leg, meaning you don't have that much freedom to pose the head placement around without moving that leg. Overall, I think the paint job on this figure is really nice, and I just wish we could get a redo of this with the new R2 sculpt. Last but certainly not least, my favorite figure out of all of these 8 is the Sandtrooper Sergeant. I think the original Sandtroopers are some of the best Star Wars figures, and they completely still hold up. The weathering on all of these is incredibly good. We got a lot of great variation with all of these pauldrons. There's 4 of these original Sandtroopers, and I'm very glad to now finally have all of them. To go over a bit of the weathering on this guy, you can see that there's just a very, very nice amount of sand all throughout the body. This is the kind of weathering that we've been asking for ages. For accessories, he comes with this really massive backpack that just pegs to the back of his body. He comes with this really nice rifle that is also weathered incredibly well with all of these silver scuffs around it. And this bigger blaster cannon as well. I'm sorry, I really just don't know the names of these blasters. But I'm a really big fan of this design, and you can also loop that around his body just like that. The Black Pauldron Sandtrooper was one of the first figures I ever got in the line, and I'm very excited to now finally have every single one of them. To go over some quick comparisons, this is the Phase 1 Trooper next to the only other Phase 1 clone with these markings that I have, being the blue one that was released in Walgreens a while back. A lot of people really hated on this figure because he now all of a sudden got some weathering on the paint where none of the old ones did. And you can't really see that well on camera, but the whites on these figures don't necessarily match. I'm still missing the green and the red clone troopers from this era, and I'd like to get them, but I'd also really like them to just re-release all of these figures in the brand new 3.0 clone body sculpt. Speaking of which, here is the Phase 2 Clone Trooper next to the brand new 3.0 body sculpt for the clones. As you can see, the proportions on this new guy are just so much better. The proportions make it look like it's an actual human underneath all of this armor, rather than looking like the helmet is the head. The articulation on the new version is just way better. However, I am still really glad to have both of these as part of the collection. Next up here is the Imperial Stormtrooper with the brand new version. Again, it's crazy what just few years of engineering can really do to help with these proportions. The articulation is also better on the new one, but I think the helmets on the old one just have a very specific look that I really like. Overall, again, there's no comparison. This is just a great new body, and it's definitely a massive upgrade from what we got back in 2015. Here's the Red Pauldron Stormtrooper next to the Red Pauldron Snowtrooper from the First Order. These two figures also look really good together. Next up here is Oxiso with the regular TIE Fighter pilot. As you can see, the only real differences are the helmets on these. I still think both of these figures still really hold up. I love having them in the display, but I would really love a brand new body sculpt for the TIE Fighter pilot. Next up is the Crimson Stormtrooper next to the only other figure that I have, which is completely red, being the Emperor's Royal Guard. I feel like these two characters have a lot of synergy, and I really like seeing them together. And here we have the R2-Q5 next to the brand new R2-D2 mold. As you can see, this new sculpt just blows it out of the water. The original R2 unit was way underscaled, and it's a shame because we got a ton of them back in the day. However, with this new body sculpt, we've only really gotten 2 or 3 repaints. I really hope we get a redo of the R2Q5 with this new body sculpt because this is just way better. It's so much more accurate. And last but not least, here is all 4 of the original Sand Troopers. These guys look amazing together. I think these are way better than the new version. I still don't have the new version, so I'll compare that to these figures as soon as I get it, but I just think there's something so special about this original Sand Trooper sculpt and all the accessories, the varieties and the pauldrons. I think my favorite one is the orange one, but I still have a lot of love for the black pauldron Sand Trooper since that was the first one I got. So there you have it. That's a quick overview of these 8 figures. I'm really happy I have them in my collection. I think these figures are gonna look insane with all the other figures. Thank you so much to my friend for gifting me these figures. You have no idea how happy you made me. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you soon with another backlog and a lot more videos on the channel. The majority of my viewers aren't subscribed, and I'm currently planning a ton of Black Series content. So if you're into Star Wars, into the Black Series, hit subscribe, hit like, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.